Hello, I'm Margaret Everson, exercising the authority of the Director of the National Park Service. This year, we join the nation in commemorating the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Many of the places where the fight for women's suffrage was waged are now national parks. From the 1848 Women's Rights Convention here in Seneca Falls, New York, to the headquarters of the National Women's Party at the Belmont Paul House in Washington, D.C. Parks, like Pipe Spring National Monument in Arizona, explore stories of women's suffrage in Western territories before and after they entered the Union as states in the years before the 19th Amendment. Women's Rights National Historical Park preserves and interprets the story of the 1848 Convention, one of the earlier stories in our nation's long and ongoing civil rights dialogue. For 2 hot days in July of 1848, more than 300 women and men gathered at Wesleyan Chapel in Seneca Falls to discuss the social, civil, and religious rights of women. And while it was not the first convention of its kind, it was critical, forming the beginning of a movement that would advance the position of women in American society. The campaign for women's suffrage would take another 72 years. On August 26, 1920, the 19th Amendment became part of the United States Constitution, and the right to vote in the United States could no longer be denied on the basis of gender. Women's history and suffrage stories are everywhere, and Americans can uncover their stories in our national parks and virtually on nps.gov and on our social media platforms. We hope that you can join us and our partners like the U.S. Postal Service in exploring this incredibly significant part of our United States history. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Andrea DeKoter, and I'm the Acting Superintendent of Women's Rights National Historical Park and Harriet Tubman National Historical Park. On behalf of the National Park Service, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our virtual Equality Weekend programming. Over 170 years ago, a small group of women and men gathered here in the Wesleyan Chapel in Seneca Falls, New York, determined to change the world by demanding equality for women. 72 years later, one of their demands was realized when the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified, guaranteeing the right to vote to U.S. citizens regardless of their sex. This weekend, Women's Rights National Historical Park, along with our partner organizations in Seneca Falls and Auburn, will commemorate the centennial of this amendment. It is a milestone achievement won through the sacrifices of countless women and men who refused to accept that women deserved anything less than equal rights. Even as we celebrate the individuals and organizations who fought for suffrage, though, we acknowledge that not all women saw the immediate benefit of this right. Women of color were largely excluded from this amendment, often denied the citizenship or, in the case of Black women, subjected to Jim Crow laws designed to prevent them from voting. It would take several more decades before universal suffrage was finally achieved. As you view these programs, we hope you'll find inspiration and opportunities for reflection as we consider what it took to achieve women's suffrage, the work that remains to be done to achieve equal rights for women everywhere, and that the right to vote should never be taken for granted. I'm reminded of the words of Susan B. Anthony: "There never will be complete equality for women until women themselves help to make laws and elect lawmakers." The park wishes to thank our partner organizations in Seneca Falls and Auburn, the scholars and descendants, and the National Park Foundation for their contributions to and support of this programming. Hello, and welcome to the U.S. Postal Service's ceremony to unveil a commemorative Forever stamp celebrating the centennial anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. I am Andrea DeKoter, Acting Superintendent of Women's Rights National Historical Park and Harriet Tubman National Historical Park, and I will be the MC for this event. Now, the moment we have all been waiting for, our stamp dedication. To do the honors, we have Jakki Krage Strako, Chief Customer and Marketing Officer and Executive Vice President at the United States Postal Service. Jakki leads sales and customer relations, global business, product innovation, customer experience, and marketing. Within those organizations, she leads all corporate strategies and initiatives to increase revenue and drive innovation of new products, services, and customer-centric solutions. Jakki began her Postal Service career in 1989 as an industrial engineer. She is a graduate of the University of Iowa, where she received a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Engineering, and DePaul University, where she received her MBA. Take it away, Jakki.
On behalf of the more than 630,000 women and men of the U.S. Postal Service, it is an honor to be with you today for the digital unveiling of a truly special stamp. Today we are commemorating the centennial of the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. After more than 70 years of organized struggle that began at a women's rights convention in Seneca Falls, New York, in 1848, the 19th Amendment was officially added to the U.S. Constitution on August 26, 1920. The stamp that we are about to unveil celebrates that momentous day and the hard-fought achievement. Inspired by historic photographs, the stamp features a stylized illustration of suffragists marching. The clothes they wear and the banners they bear display the official colors of the National Women's Party: purple, white, and gold. The stamp includes the words "Women Vote" and 19th Amendment in shades of purple beneath the image. "Forever" and "USA" appear along the stamp's bottom edge. Using art by Nancy Stahl, art director Ethel Kessler designed the stamp, which is being issued as a forever stamp that will always be equal in value to the current first-class mail 1-ounce price. Now, it's my honor to unveil the United States Postal Service stamp commemorating the centennial of the ratification of the 19th Amendment.
What a beautiful stamp. Thank you, Jakki, for those wonderful remarks. It is now my honor to introduce our final speaker. Colleen Jenkins is a legislator, author, and television producer. Through the years, she has used her talents to inspire both awareness and pride in women's history. She is co-founder and president of the Elizabeth Cady Stanton Trust, a collection of 3,000 objects of women's suffrage memorabilia that has been loaned to museum exhibits, book publishers, documentary film producers, presidential libraries, popular magazines, television programs, and used in congressional testimony. The Trust is dedicated to preserving the history of the women's rights movement, educating the public on this history, and promoting the advancement of women's rights. Her 2009 testimony before the United States Senate contributed to the passage of federal legislation creating a national trail of historic sites coordinated by Women's Rights National Historical Park, known as the National Votes for Women Trail. Please welcome Colleen Jenkins.
Hello. My name is Colleen Jenkins. I'm the great-great-granddaughter of Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Welcome to my home. I'm thrilled to be working with the National Park Service and the U.S. Postal Service, two of the greatest institutions of our country. Today, we are celebrating a new stamp in honor of the 19th Amendment. My great-great-grandmother in 1848 at the first Women's Rights Convention demanded the vote, demanded elective franchise. Many other people wanted the vote for all citizens of the United States. In this case, it took 72 years. And what I'd like to do is honor this new stamp by reading a letter that Elizabeth Cady Stanton wrote in 1852. She says, "Dear Lucretia, at length a happy mother of a daughter, rejoice with me, all womankind, for a champion of thy cause is born." Actually, Elizabeth just gave birth a few hours earlier of her first daughter. She had 7 children, and she felt her daughters and her sons were of equal importance. I'd like to read to you the 19th Amendment, because this is what we're celebrating with this postal stamp, but also with one of the largest revolutions in America. The 19th Amendment is a simple sentence: the rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. This is really exciting to know, that basically if you're a citizen of the United States, you have a constitutionally protected right to go out and vote. And please, when you vote, remember that you're standing on the shoulders of the suffragists that marched in the streets and made their voices heard in order to gain the right to vote. I want to share a few other things with you. I have a stamp collection. I collect commemorative first day of issue stamps. Here's one of Elizabeth Cady Stanton. But also, I think these are wonderful microcosms of U.S. history. And this is a collection that somebody did. And you can see there's Harriet Tubman, Emily Dickinson, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Carrie Chapman Catt. Not only individuals, but also mass movements. For instance, here's one to the Red Cross. And another one is to veterans who have served in the military. So I really enjoy stamps because they're little tiny pieces of history in a nutshell. So I hope that you enjoy this stamp and you use it. It will be issued August 2020. It's a forever stamp, which I think is really important because our civil rights are forever. And we must always march for them, be careful that they're not trampled on. We must always fight for them. So the best thing you can do is November, go to the voting booths and vote. Or if you want to be safe in a pandemic, use this stamp on your absentee ballot and be safe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Colleen. That concludes our ceremony. I would like to remind you that you can post about today's ceremony on social media using the hashtags WomenVoteStamps, one word, or 19th Amendment stamps, one word. Please spread the word that this stamp is now available at all U.S. Postal retail units nationwide. Thank you for joining us.